And good morning and welcome to the VSA Capital 5 Minute Morning Miner on the 4th of April. And I'm back from my trip in front to the United States, which was fascinating. Anybody wants to know what I was up to, then you can read it in my dispatches from America or message me directly and ask what I've been up to. And by the way, it was very nice to meet one of our regular listeners who listens from Tahoe. So, Matt, it was good to catch up with you if you're listening this morning. Anyway, Ollie, morning. We've got you for 2 weeks because Paul's gone on holiday, hasn't he?
Yep, he's gone to the States as well.
Yeah, it's all happening in the States. Actually, it was pretty good out there. It all seemed pretty relaxed. All seemed to be pretty back to normal as well. Although on flights and in airports, and in public transport, you still had to wear masks. Anyway, let's turn to mining. I don't know what you've got today. I'm not sure there's a huge amount of news, but tell us what you got, Ollie.
Yeah, a couple of different announcements. We seem to be sort of through the majority of the full year results, so back to more diverse RNSs. I guess we'll start with Ionic Rare Earths, who's closed their flagged acquisition of Seren, which is a Northern Ireland based company which focuses on the downstream of rare earth separations and magnet recycling. So that's been flagged for some time. It's a private company, so there'll be a share purchase agreement, and then that'll bring that downstream element into the group, which has obviously been a missing factor for the Uganda-based project. And we're seeing all sorts of rare earth companies trying to find that extra bit of technology that means that they can avoid China. So to have another UK-based company doing that is quite exciting.
Yeah, I mean, it's becoming a bit of a theme actually across I would say, the entire mining industry, isn't it? I mean, you're obviously seeing it in rare earths, you said, so that you can have your own processing in the West rather than relying upon Chinese. But I mean, funny enough, we're seeing it obviously in the vanadium companies. A lot of the vanadium miners are trying to start doing their own batteries, and vice versa. Some of the battery companies are looking at the mining companies. It's probably only a matter of time before we see the lithium companies starting to put in their own lithium hydroxide plants. And it's becoming a bit of a theme, isn't it?
Definitely. It's a question now of what are the economics going to look like, and are domestic investors, end users, prepared to pay a premium, probably certainly in the first couple of years, while they get established, to move away and guarantee that security of supply outside of China.
Well, it's where we need governments to come in, because I can tell you in the US, what was clear when I was traveling around seeing people is that the US government is going to produce grants and loans so that all of this processing capability can take place in critical metals. And obviously we need to do the same in the UK if there's any politicians listening to this. Anyway, enough of a political speech. What else have you got, Ollie?
Brief announcement from Caledonia on their quarterly dividend. 14 cents a share, so a little higher than last year's, which was sort of implied run rate on that. Last year's full dividend being 50 cents a share, so 14 implies slightly higher than that, but obviously this year they are guiding to higher production at 73 to 80,000 ounces compared to 67 last year, but that should be achievable as they'd increase throughput throughout the year, so that's probably closer to the Q4 run rate than anything else. But gold sector as a whole looking pretty cheap, particularly at the current price.
Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, gold equities really, most of them have actually gone down. A lot of them have gone down rather than up with the gold price. Caledonia, of course, it's got an OTC quote, and most of its business, you just said the dividend is in cents, seems to become a very US orientated stock now.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah. Did I see a record auction of Gemfields?
Yes. Yeah. $9.4 a carat, which is sort of double the pre-COVID price level. and an all-time high record amount of $42 million for their Emerald auction. So given where they were during COVID, that's a very strong turnaround. And another one of these commodities where supply disruption during the pandemic completely sort of erased inventories and has reset supply demand dynamics post COVID.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else?
There's a brief update from Cleantech Lithium, which obviously listed quite recently, that looks to have bounced quite strongly on the news. I don't think there's too much new in there if you'd followed the IPO, but looks like everything progressing according to plan for them.
Yeah, I saw that. I mean, I think they detected that the brines have got lithium in. Well, sort of know that. I mean, most of the brines down in South America do. But as you say, it's all fine. Not an issue there at all. All right, that's probably about it, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so for today. Yeah.
All right, well, we'll speak again tomorrow.
See you then.